troops decided, well, the leaders decided that it was time that these protesters be cleared so that the dominant culture could make productive use of the land. And so hundreds of troops came on to Parihaka, and Te Whiti and Tohu, who were the Māori chiefs, had been so influenced by the Christian gospel that they adopted a policy of non-violent resistance to the colonial aggressor coming to take over their land. So they said, we're not going to fight back physically, because obviously a lot of people would have died. So they put the men at the back and the women in front of the men and the children out the front. And as the troops came on to take the land, the children danced. And then there was an offer of hospitality to the troops. And this was all done in the Christian spirit of non-violent resistance. So it was protest. They obviously didn't want their land to be taken, but it was. And the leaders of the passive resistance, Te Whiti and Tohu, were sent as prisoners to Dunedin, where they helped build the road out to the peninsula. And so there is on Portsmouth Drive a rongo stone which stands there to commemorate the events of Parihaka and the connection between Dunedin and Parihaka through Te Whiti, Tohu and others being prisoners here. And so as I drive out to the peninsula, I remember them. And so the 5th of November is very significant for our country, because now we see, looking back, that the colonial aggression was an injustice and was a blatant breach of the Treaty of Waitangi, which our Methodist missionaries advocated for the chiefs to sign as a spiritual covenant to ensure that their land and all that was precious to them would not be taken. And it was. So we repent from that, and there's a lot of healing that still needs to happen. Parihaka is now a place where they have an annual peace festival, and the story of Te Whiti and Tohu's courage has gone international and inspired people all around the world to resist the aggressor in a non-violent way in the spirit of Jesus Christ. So that's a bit about what we commemorated yesterday. There's a lot more that could be said. People come to our university to do doctorates now in peace and conflict studies, and they study Te Whiti and Tohu in line with Gandhi and Martin Luther King. And I think Te Whiti and Tohu are up there with Martin Luther King and Gandhi, both of whom adopted non-violent protest rather than violent response to aggression. Thank you.
Today is our celebration of Holy Communion. George will be our communion